Okay, good morning. Because we've stopped production activities, if you'd like, you can remove your PPE. So I'll start this morning by saying that we here in the Alston plant, located in Thunder Bay, Ontario, acknowledge that we reside on the traditional territory of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson-Superior Treaty of 1850. Alston acknowledges the history that many nations hold in the areas around our site. We are committed to a relationship with the Indigenous people based on the principles of mutual trust, respect, and collaboration in the spirit of reconciliation. Now please let me welcome Minister Robertson to the podium.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see all your smiling faces here, and great to be joining you here in Thunder Bay. Pleasure to be here with my colleagues from the federal side, the Government of Canada, Minister Patty Haydu is here, Minister of Jobs and Families, MP Marcus Pulowski, here, both of them, your Thunder Bay members of Parliament, as well as we have two, James Maloney from the City of Toronto and Michael Coteau, also from City of Toronto. So we've got a presence here from the House of Commons. Thrilled to be joining you, as well as Minister Sarkaria and Holland from Ontario. We are really happy to be with all of you, working on the front lines here to build the public transit that we need so much across our great country. We are here today with a very important announcement for all of Canada, and this is an announcement that has very significant benefits here in Thunder Bay, but it has big impact as well, positive impact in Toronto, across Ontario and the rest of Canada. Aujourd'hui, on fait un investissement important. C'est un investissement qui va avoir un impact ici en Ontario, mais aussi dans le reste du Canada. And we're here today also to set an expectation that when it comes to building public infrastructure, and that expectation is very simple. Make it in Canada with Canadian materials and Canadian workers. Your Government of Canada has been stepping up and making unprecedented investments in public transit infrastructure, having invested over $30 billion in hundreds of transit and active transportation projects across the country. And through the Canada Public Transit Fund, we have taken a modern approach to long-term transit funding, one that strengthens the planning and the partnerships and gets new service in place. Most of my years prior to being elected federally, I served for a decade as the mayor of Vancouver, and we had no long-term transit funding at the time available to cities across Canada. Our communities felt the impacts of that. More traffic congestion, more expensive commutes, more pollution, and that is all changing. I'm so honored to serve in a federal government now that is making unprecedented investments in public transit that makes life more affordable, more convenient, more sustainable, and it's through the great partnerships with provinces, with Ontario today, and cities like Toronto, that we have announced new funding to support new subway cars for TTC's Line 2, which is a 26-kilometer subway line that connects residents from Etobicoke to Scarborough, helps Torontonians get around quickly, affordably, and reliably. Today, we are taking this investment one step further. Since we were elected, your new federal government, this is since April, we've been very clear. We will make Canada its own best customer by strengthening our Canadian industries, supporting Canadian workers, and building a more resilient and diversified economy. La politique achetée canadienne permet au Canada de renforcer notre économie. La politique achetée canadienne nous permet d'appuyer nos travailleurs, de bâtir un Canada fort. Today we are announcing a deal with the Toronto Transit Commission, with the Government of Ontario, and Alstom for Canadian public transit infrastructure to be built here in Canada with Canadian labour and materials. And by increasing our investment from $758 million to nearly $1 billion, we are ensuring that this transit investment creates opportunities here in Canada, right here in Thunder Bay, and builds our economy. These streetcars will be made now using 55% Canadian content, Canadian materials. And that is Canadian steel and aluminum in particular, two of our sectors that are in really tough times right now because of the U.S. tariffs. So we've got to do everything we can to keep our Canadian workers working and make sure that we're using those great Canadian materials and what we need on the ground in our cities. And this increased investment will directly contribute to over 900 good, high-paying jobs in assembly, design, and engineering at Alstom across its Canadian manufacturing sites. And I'm especially proud to acknowledge the positive impact it'll have here in Thunder Bay, in this plant. We know the industries in Northern Ontario have been particularly impacted this year, and today's announcement is a step in the right direction, and thank you for stepping up with us. Nous allons faire les investissements nécessaires dans l'infrastructure canadienne. En même temps, nous allons renforcer notre économie et développer des industries canadiennes pour faire le Canada plus compétitif, pour bâtir une économie canadienne plus forte et plus autonome. For my part, as your Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, I think about how our communities are connected. The production of these streetcars will create jobs across Canada. They will be built here in Thunder Bay. They will serve communities in Toronto. Communities like Downsview. We saw a poster with one of your trains on the Downsview tracks, where Build Canada Homes, which is building affordable housing now across Canada, is building affordable housing and community infrastructure so 100,000 new homes can be built in the middle of Toronto and served by your transit cars. This is about buying Canadian with our public dollars. It's about investing in Canadian workers and materials to strengthen our economy in precarious times. That is what building a connected and strong Canada looks like. So keep at it. Let's build Canada strong. Merci à tous.
Thank you, Minister Robertson. Next, I'd like to invite Minister Sarkaria to the podium.
Good morning, everyone, and it's great to be here in Thunder Bay again with so many good friends and colleagues alongside Minister Robertson. Always a pleasure to work with the federal government to deliver such good news, which we're all here today. My colleague, Minister Holland, as well, someone who has been a fearless, tireless advocate, not only for Thunder Bay, but especially for all of you that are here today working and making sure that we're supporting this plant from day one. Also, a pleasure to be joined by Minister Hadju and MP Pawlowski. And I also want to give a big shout out to Mayor Boshoff, who is also here today. Always been a pleasure to work with you to support the people of Thunder Bay to ensure that we're delivering good results. So, Mayor, thank you so much for all that you are doing as well. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Michael and his team at Alstom for hosting us today, being such great partners, and truly investing in this plant and all of you. It wasn't too long ago that we came here, had an opportunity to meet with so many of you on the floor. I've had an opportunity to also meet with in some of my previous tours. And I want to thank Lindsay as well. She has been incredible. I know she does a great job of running this plant. She's always been such a fearless and forceful advocate for all of you, and so thank you, Lindsay, for all that you are doing. And I also want to give a big shout out last time when we came here and committed to our contract on the Metrolinx, and I love to see all the GO trains that are here today. I think it was over $500 million that we committed to supporting this plant. It was because of all the workers here. Justin, I know, is here with the team at Unifor. Every single one of you, you know, Premier Ford made a commitment when he came here a couple of years ago that he was going to support this plant. It's true to his word, and today we have another big win for Ontario and for Ontario workers. So thank you to each and every single one of you. As part of our plan to protect Ontario's economic security and build a province that is more competitive, more resilient, and more self-reliant, our government is taking action. In partnership with the federal government, we are increasing our investment to nearly $1 billion for 55 new subway trains for Toronto's Line 2. And we are maximizing the Canadian content in those trains. And that's going to support more than 900 Canadian jobs, especially right here in this plant in Thunder Bay. We're going to ensure Ontario tax dollars support Ontario companies, industries, and tariff-hit sectors such as steel and aluminum. This investment furthers our government's ongoing work to support a strong, viable manufacturing sector in Ontario that will help withstand growing geopolitical and economic uncertainty. And it delivers on our government's commitment to protect Ontario, both by ensuring Ontario tax dollars support Ontario workers and by strengthening and supporting this province's manufacturing sector. At a time of global uncertainty, and as President Trump targets Canada's steel and aluminum industries, our government is making sure transit investments strengthen our domestic manufacturing. This announcement also builds on our government's strong record of delivering for Northern Ontario. Last year, we were here announcing the $500 million contract to refurbish GO Transit rail cars at the Alstom plant right here in Thunder Bay. And I'm glad to see so many of those trains are already here being serviced. We were just in Toronto 2 days ago, actually, announcing the 60th streetcar that was built right here at this plant. So we know how important all the workers here are, but more importantly, how incredible of a story it is that Ontario workers here in Thunder Bay are supporting one of the largest transit expansions in the GTA, in Toronto, and across across Ontario. We also announced more than $350 million in funding to refurbish GO rail cars at the Ontario Northlands facility in North Bay. We're also making key infrastructure investments into our Trans-Canada highways to keep people and goods moving safely and efficiently across the north. And we're bringing the Northlander back to support workers and communities in other northern parts of this province to ensure that northeastern Ontario has the transit it needs as well. This is all a part of our plan to deliver the largest transit expansion in Canadian history. And under Premier Ford's leadership, we're investing more than $70 billion in public transit to connect to jobs, housing, and keep our economy moving, while ensuring that Ontario tax dollars are spent right here in this province at home. With that, I thank you very much, and I turn it back over to Lindsay.
Thank you very much, Minister Sarkaria. Next, I'd like to welcome Minister Haidu to our podium.
Well, good morning, everyone, and I think we've got all the acknowledgements out of the way. It's great to see, though, so many elected leaders, so many union leaders, so many workers here with us today, and of course, the leadership of Alstom in bringing this to fruition is just incredible. I do want to start by acknowledging the collaborative work between Ontario and Canada. And the Prime Minister has told you and told us many times over the last several months that the world is at a hinge moment, and so is our relationship with the United States. And the ministers that spoke before me are right to point out that we're in the middle of an economic war, that sectors of our economy, deeply important sectors of our economy, are being hit with unfair, in some cases, illegal tariffs, and that workers all across this country are suffering, and that communities are feeling that fear and that anxiety. But the Prime Minister's also said something else that's, I think, very important, and that is that we can give ourselves more than any other country can take away from us. And that's what this announcement is about today. It's about working together across levels of government, across different parties, with one sole focus in mind, and that's the health and wellness and safety and security of Canadians. And that's what you elected us to do, whether you voted Liberal or Conservative or NDP or something else. You voted for leaders that would work together and put your interests at the top of our efforts. And I'm so proud to be here today with this entire cast of people, including the leadership of Alstom, who are focused on building Canada strong. It is unquestionably a tough time. Your neighbors are scared, your families are scared. But today is a good news story about what we can do when we focus on Canadians and on our own communities. Not only that, but you're building the next generation of talent. And I would be remiss to say, as a Minister of Jobs, that to forget about the work that you do to build that next generation of talent. My own son started here as an assembler finisher and worked on the line before he went into another trade. And now he is, at 29 years old, earning a very good living as a skilled tradesperson. But there's too few of you. And so we need you to spread the word amongst the peers that you know, amongst the families and the youth that you speak to, about what great quality work looks like and what unionization means for security and stability for workers, not just in pay and benefits, but in the safety of workplaces. This is an incredible, incredible facility. It's survived many ups and downs through the resiliency and determination of leadership and of the workers. And I couldn't be prouder to stand here today with my colleagues to say that we got this one over the finish line. There will be other fights ahead, and we'll fight them with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have Minister Holland next, coming to say a few words.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Lindsay. Before I get into my remarks, I really want to thank the leadership team here at Alstom, but in particular, Lindsay, for all the work you've done, not just to organize today's event, but as well for all the incredible work you do here daily at Alstom Thunder Bay. Thank you so much for what you do. And again, I won't acknowledge all the colleagues here other than to say it's great to have so many of our colleagues provincially and federally here. For those of you that have traveled to be with us today, welcome to Thunder Bay. It's great to have you here in the city. And I as well would like to make a special call out to Mayor Boshkoff and thank him for his leadership and for his collaboration and working with me in particular over the last 4 years and plus. So it's great to see that. And to Marcus, Patty, and Ken, I am really proud of the relationships that we have developed across political levels and political stripes to advance the interests of our shared constituents and region. Today's announcement really demonstrates that shared commitment of all of us. It's an absolute pleasure to be joined by my colleague at Queen's Park, the Honourable Prabmeet Sarkaria, Minister of Transportation, for today's announcement that highlights exactly what our government means when we say we are investing in Ontario and Ontario workers. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government has made a clear mandate to protect Ontario, strengthen our economy, and safeguard good-paying jobs for workers and families across the province, workers like all of you that are gathered here today in Thunder Bay. That mandate is guiding historic investments that are building a more self-reliant, resilient and competitive Ontario, one that is ready to meet today's needs and tomorrow's opportunities. We are taking action to ensure Ontario remains the best place to live, work, and do business by supporting local industries, growing our workforce, and keeping critical supply chains right here at home. We are fortunate today to be joined by a minister and to have a premier who understands that transportation infrastructure is about more than moving people and goods. It is a powerful economic driver that supports workers, families, and communities in every corner of Ontario. As Minister of Transportation, Minister Sarkaria has been a strong advocate for building, modernizing, and expanding transit infrastructure while ensuring Ontario taxpayers receive real value for every dollar invested. His leadership is helping ensure that Ontarians that projects like this one strengthen Ontario's economy, prioritize Ontario-based companies, and sustain skilled manufacturing jobs, including good-paying jobs here in northwestern Ontario. Minister, you alluded to it, but it was exactly 1 year ago today, January 15th, 2025, when we were announcing the $500 million refurbishing contract for Alstom in Thunder Bay. And I'm confident that the quality of work will be second to none. congratulations to all the workers for the incredible pride and workmanship that you put into every job coming through this facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Holland. Now I'd like to welcome Marcus Pulowski, Member of Parliament, to the podium.
Thank you very much. I prepared some remarks, but I don't know if I'm really going to follow them. I usually just wing it. Either is a total failure or it works out okay. Mostly I want to congratulate everybody, all the people on this stage for making this happen and for all their hard work. I want to give a special shout out to Justin Roberts and before him Dominic Pasqualino for all the hard work that they've done to make it happen. Yeah, well, way to go. This is really about you guys. Within about 2 days of being elected, Dominic called me up and I met with him. I meet with him regularly, and now Justin, I meet with him regularly. I know those two treat you all like they're part of their family. And after serving in the position I have for a number of years, I too feel like part of your family. And getting this contract was an immense relief for me to know that you will continue to have your jobs in the future. And let me just add, we all know we're living in troubled times, and I would say in these troubled times, we need this plant and we need these jobs. And so most of all, I'd like to congratulate you all. I'm really, really, from the bottom of my heart, happy for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. And with closing remarks, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Michael Kiroulet.
Morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be here today and to welcome all our dignitaries today at Thunder Bay to announce this landmark agreement in the very plant where these new subway trains will be built. On behalf of Alstom, our 5,000 employees in Canada, and obviously on behalf of all of you, which Mr. Sarkaria called the best workers in Canada, so on behalf of all of us, I want to thank sincerely the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, the City of Toronto, Mayor Boshkoff, for their trust in delivering this new generation of subway cars to Toronto. Thank you as well, Marcus, for your nice words and encouragement. I also want to express our deep gratitude to the TTC team for a decades-long partnership with them, which governed over delivery of iconic programs such as the Red Streetcars, which we celebrated with the 60th car last Tuesday in Toronto, but also the T1, the Rocket subway trains, which were built here, and the CBTC trains, the CBTC system on Line 1. We're excited to build on this great partnership with the TTC to offer Torontonians a brand new experience with the new cars for Line 2 for the Scarborough extension. Let's talk a little bit about the cars. These new cars will bring brighter, more spacious and open gangways. They will have energy efficiency, efficient lighting, smart climate control, state-of-art cybersecurity, and they will be built for accessibility and comfort with multi-purpose areas for wheelchairs, strollers, and bikes. But beyond all of these benefits for riders, the program will boost our domestic economy and bring significant returns to Canada and to Ontario, delivering maximum value for taxpayers, creating good-paying, high-value jobs here at home, and nurturing local expertise and innovation so that we can remain global leaders in the sector. Practically, these new trains will be designed in our Saint-Bruno headquarters in Quebec, assembled here in Thunder Bay using parts coming from dozens of local suppliers, and they will be tested in Kingston, Ontario, and commissioned there. And the program will generate more than 900 jobs, actually close to 1,000 jobs of high-paying quality in Canada, 600 of which at Alstom. And indirectly, this is 1,700 jobs created through a program like that. So we praise our provincial and federal governments for their bold actions to accelerate nation-building investments and for championing building in Canada for Canada. Projects like this one are catalysts for companies like ours to grow an industrial presence here in the country. Today, with over 5,000 highly skilled Canadian employees, Alstom is the national champion for rail and the only train manufacturer with industrial footprint in the country, and we take this responsibility very seriously. We're very proud to be trusted partners for mobility projects across Ontario, as well as across other Canadian provinces, and our commitment to continue expanding Canadian talents and building a strong domestic supply chain is unwavering. I want to conclude this event and this address by addressing our proud employees here in Thunder Bay and our partner at Unifor. The journey hasn't been easy. The facility here has experienced highs and lows, but your resilience has been extraordinary. Today is your day, a testament to your talent and to your commitment and to your hard work. For the first time in years, we can envision a pipeline of work that extends beyond a few years, and you can count on all of us here present on this stage to continue working together to bring more projects to this facility, to put your expertise at work, and to fuel industrial development for the region and for our country. But now it's up to us to deliver to our commitments and deliver these new subway trains on budget, on time to our partners, to our customers, and to Toronto. Thank you very much.